This is literally my second go on Wheel of Fortune, and I don't think I'm gonna get it right, period, no matter how hard I try doing it. Okay, so you know how we are so very mortal. It really sucks, honestly. It's a sucky situation to be in, to be this mortal. Call me 10, just for now. Let's go with it. And Messy Human Tarot, just for now. Let's go with it. The wheel is just always moving and shifting and changing. Maybe slowly, sometimes more quickly. The seasons are consistently shifting and changing, but there's similarities in them all. There's seasons within seasons, there's cycles, there's karma, there's trauma, drama. And oftentimes we think we can solve a problem by running in, and then sometimes the solution's just waiting, and then sometimes the solution is doing something. And so oftentimes we think with the Wheel of Fortune that good fortune's gonna happen to me, just gonna happen, and everything's gonna be better. And sometimes that's the case, and more often times we need to take right action. We need right thought, which means we need to be in our right minds so we can have right action, which means we need to develop coping skills, which means we actually, instead of people telling us what we need to do, we need to know what we need to do. We also can't be blowing with the wind. We actually have to recognize that we are part of the wheel. The wheel can go. The wheel is just, a metaphor for all kinds of different things. I remember when I used to see the Wheel of Fortune, I'd be like so excited, like, okay, it's gonna happen, and then my life would happen, and I would get really happy based on what happened, or I get really unhappy because something happened. Things happen, and we can't allow our circumstances to be the definer of our emotions and our emotional state of being. I would love, just absolutely delightfully love to be immortal. Not really. No. But because then I would be connected to source in a way that's very, very different. Here in this mortal body, I kind of have, because I'm psychic, I can sense some things here and there. And when I look at people, I see stuff that sometimes makes me sad and relieved at the same time, because it's just, eventually it doesn't matter what you say. And what's more important is trying your best to maybe be a positive part of the wheel, and to have a positive influence on yourself, and to enjoy life as best as you can. I'm not an LMC doctor, financial, legal advisor, guru, or anything like that. All choice is your own. Like, you have to make those decisions as best as you can for yourself, and there's gonna be days you're gonna make really great decisions, and then you're gonna make mistakes, but you also too have to recognize how smart and intelligent and brilliant you are. You have to find a way of trusting yourself that you are going to figure it out. You know, and I think in some ways that's what makes people sometimes really uncomfortable when they're around me. Like certain types of people. Because I'm like, I trust that you're smart and you're so very intelligent. Because I'm saying like they have a lot more power than they're willing to admit to themselves that they can have that positive turn of the wheel. They can do something. They can make their own great fortune or misfortune because they're so brilliant, so fabulous. I think that's a little scary. That's a lot of responsibility on our shoulders. So it's so much easier for other people to carry the burden of our pain and our suffering. And I'm not like, because I will say that to myself. Like, I would never want to put that burden on someone else. I don't want them to think that my happiness or my suffering is a direct result of them. Because that's not fair. That would be me basically saying that I had nothing to do with that. That's arrogance or trauma. Choose your pick. But I am going to wrap this up while this is all going good and fabulous. Just so you know, like, I'm very just not as I produce content when I can. And very often it's when I'm inspired to act, because I'm ultimately trying to understand this stuff, and I'm trying to listen to Great Spirit, and they're saying things, they're saying all kinds of stuff, and I don't always want to listen, because it means I have to be directly responsible for receiving, implementing that feedback. So I have to actively listen and try my best to listen and to nod my head and say, that sounds like a very good idea. I think I will try that today. Sometimes that's the best you can do. So yeah, so I wish you all well, love and light. And everything I say is not meant for you to be this divine, perfect human being. We're mortal for a reason. Like, we are connected to the source, but because we're not like these immortal beings in this form, we are here to play out like a karmic cycle. We're trying to figure stuff out, and ultimately sometimes like we are conscious, and sometimes we remember past life memories, and sometimes we don't. So I wouldn't fault yourself for anything. I really would be nice to yourself, because ultimately at the end of the night, you're gonna go back to sleep. And as depressing as it is, you might not remember your dream. You may wake up and you're not gonna be in the same body. You're gonna maybe be a little less alert and aware, and maybe you might be the next Dalai Lama or something, and you'll be a lot more attuned to the world. Until then, though, just do your best with the wheel of time, okay? Love and light. You got this, you brilliant, beautiful soul. You do.